again.
Yeah, bugger it. Do you reckon we're going to be able to get that letter from B?
Who knows? She might be able to get it out on the food tray. Then again, she might not. We're just going to have to wait and see.
Well, goodbye, sir. We'll see you again sometime.
Right, Mrs. Morris.
Tell me all about this morning's fire. Was anyone hurt?
Steve Faulkner.
That's terrible, badly.
Well, they took him off to hospital. But he's suffering from shock more than anything. He'll be all right.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Yes, he gave us all a bit of a scare.
Yes, I imagine he did.
Mrs. Morris?
Susie, I told you to wait outside in the corridor.
I just want to know what I do about my parole. I still can't believe it.
You'll do as you're told for a start.
Well, how long do I have to wait?
Well, only a few days, I expect.
Wendy, I've confiscated a letter Smith and Smart were trying to send to the dispatch. It'll have to go to the police, so would you let me know when the... Susan, what are you doing here?
I was just taking her to the dining room, Mrs. Davidson.
Very well. Would you let me know when the mail is due to go?
Right, Mrs. Davidson. Who is it to go to?
Detective Sergeant Ryan, but I'll attend to that side of it.
Okay.
The screws have got Helen's letter.
Right, are you sure?
Yeah, I heard Davo tell Wendy.
Oh, damn it.
And she's going to make sure it goes to the cops.
The cops?
Looks like Helen's going to be around this joint for a while, then.
Oh, bloody screws. Got no chance, have we? Well, how come you know all this?
Of course. It was her hearing today. How'd you go?
Oh, terrific. I got my parole.
Oh, that's great.
Terrific. Out in the big bad world soon, huh?
Yeah, I'm sort of scared.
What of?
Being free, I suppose. I've spent most of my life trying to get out of places like this. Now they're just going to open the door for me. Just seems a bit funny, that's all.
Well, you make sure you keep your nose clean till you are out of here. Because then it's just going to be freedom and friends, right?
Well, that's another thing. I don't know anyone on the outside.
Oh, come on. You'll make friends in no time.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you'll be out soon, Jude. At least I have one mate.
You bet you will, love.
Hey, we ought to have a party.
We already had one.
Yeah, we'll have one just for you this time.
It's going to be some party. There won't be any booze left by the time the screws are finished searching our cells.
Yeah, I suppose the screws will be looking for the still.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it, is there? And we certainly can't dismantle the thing. We're just going to have to sit back and hope that they don't find it.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, gentlemen.
That's all right, Mrs. Davidson. Just smell this.
Alcohol. Am I right?
You are. Very strong distilled spirit, I'd say.
Mrs. Davidson.
It must be everywhere. First Birdsworth, and you wouldn't believe how much we found in the cell search. So, the women have a still hidden away somewhere.
Well, haven't been able to locate it yet.
We'll step up the search. Try the less likely places. I want that still found.
Right.
Mrs. Davidson, I'd like a word with you in your office, please. Straight away.
But I have only just found out myself. How did you...
I believe the so-called facts were volunteered by the fire department itself. Naturally, we want to save the minister the embarrassment of having to confirm such a story. You can deny it, I trust?
I'm afraid I can't.
I see.
3 of our extinguishers were found to contain alcohol.
Only 3? Yeah, I'm surprised. And I take it you haven't been able to find the women responsible?
That is what we are trying to do now. I assure you, as soon as we find the still...
Still? You mean there's a still in this prison and you don't even know about it?
I hardly think it was intended that we should.
Yes, and as usual, security does not appear to be of prime importance.
Security is part of the problem. The restrictions placed on Helen Smart are already causing friction between the staff and prisoners.
They are necessary.
Well, I don't agree.
Then don't, but at least follow our departmental directives. Or find someone who can. Oh, and if there is a still, find it.
Wendy, that conversation we had about sending Helen Smart's letter to Sergeant Ryan, would you keep it confidential, please? I have decided to do something else with it.
I reckon we've got to get rid of that bloody still.
Forget it. The screws will be watching us like hawks.
Yeah, and if we do get rid of the still, what are we going to do with the pipes and all that stuff?
Well, getting caught with the booze in my cell is one thing. I can always say it was planted. But if they find out we made the stuff, that'll really bugger things up. The screw got hurt, remember? They don't forget things like that.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So bloody right. We'll all end up doing extra time.
Oh, we can't let that happen.
No. Maybe we...
Judy, could I have a word with you, please?
Sure.
Outside?
Maybe we can have our cake and eat it too. Now, don't you go away.
What do you mean by that?
I think she's got an idea. I hope it's a good one.
So what's all this about, Mrs. Morris?
Well, I had a talk with the parole board chairman this morning.
But my case wasn't due for a while.
It was strictly off the record. Now, he feels that if your appeal is successful, you'll have no trouble getting your parole licence back.
That's fantastic. Thanks a million, Mrs. Morris.
Of course, nothing's guaranteed until your case actually comes up.
No, but... Well, it's all over by the shouting, eh? I should say the red tape.
Yes, well, I think you've got a very good chance. Naturally, the same parole conditions would apply.
Oh, I realise that. Well, all we have to do now is get my taxi driving certificate back.
Well, if you like, I can talk to someone at the Transport Regulation Board, cut through some of that red tape for you.
Thanks, Mrs. Morris. You know it's going to be great driving that taxi again.
Judy, you know, I can't stress how important it is for you to keep out of trouble.
Oh, butter wouldn't melt in my mouth.
I know, but if you were caught with alcohol or were near a certain still, all our efforts would go for nothing.
Mrs. Morris, there's some work I want you to do. Get back round.
What's happened?
The arson squad want to speak to all the women we think are involved in this business in the interview room.
Oh, I see.
Separately, of course. And I have just thought of one or two more places where that still could be.
But I thought we'd looked everywhere.
Not quite.
So, it looks as though my appeal might come through after all, eh?
Hey, little ripper. You'll get your old job back and everything.
And we'll get that together, Jude.
Well, if it comes through.
Well, you've got no worries now.
I will have if they can connect me with the booze. And if they find that still, I'm stuffed.
Did Mrs. Morris really say that?
Well, evidently, po-faced Powell's on the trail like a bloody bloodhound. She's not going to stop looking either till she finds it. So that only leaves us with one thing to do.
And what's that?
Get to it before she does. I'll need your help, though, honey.
What if a screw catches us in the boiler room?
Well, they won't, will they, if someone keeps knit? Hey?
Yeah, sure. I told you before the bloody thing had to go.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to pick up a few things on the way.
What for?
You'll find out. Come on.
What if the screws come in? Well, what are we going to say if they start cutting heads?
Oh, God, I'm so nervous I feel crook.
It'll be all right, love.
I think I'm going to throw up any minute.
Oh, Doreen, please, do you mind?
Screws. We can't go in there now.
No.
Quinn, what are you lurking around here for?
I wasn't lurking.
And what are you doing? You're supposed to be in the laundry.
Call the nature, Mrs. Powell, you know. Happens to all of us.
Go on, get on with it. Speed it up or you'll be on report. Hurry. Come on, let's get on with it.
First thing we got to do is get rid of that booze.
Oh, Jude.
Leave me alone. I'm going to think.
Maybe I could organise the women and get a bucket brigade happening. What are you looking for?
I don't know, but I'll know when I see it. Eureka.
What are you going to do with that?
Oh, just shut up and come along. Now put those things down. I'll need your help. Here, hold that.
What are you doing?
Well, this is the pipe that drains it out, right? Here, now you fasten that bit on there. Give me that. You fasten that bit on there. And that's the pipe that fills it up, you see? If I put this on here like this, and we open both of these taps, with a bit of luck, the whole thing should just drain itself out.
Wow, you're a real smart cookie, Jude.
Yes, I'm very smart. Hand us the rags. you start filling up those bottles double quick.